got 3 more. They're all from the Legion American Riders Post 392. One name I think a lot of us are familiar with. He's gone by Flash. His name is Mark Long. If you ever gone out to poker runs in Panama City, you always seen him. He was a big guy with a camera around his neck, always taking pictures and posting them on Facebook and post them out there, always there for the function. Next name we have from the American Legion is Steve Wallace. Steve was a little guy, a little Marine, always there trying to help out. I mean, he was not well very long, but on a cane, but you needed a tool, he'd run back to the house, get his tool. He'd be out there helping the American Legion. And we have Jerry Maverick Green. He was never owned a motorcycle, but that man was there with the 392, always out there helping, always there supporting. And he was made an honorary member for 392. If we can get someone from the 392 want to speak on one or all 3, post these up here.
Already said it about Mark Flash Long. I mean, he was dedicated to American Legion Riders. He was dedicated to A-Bait when it was still active here. He took thousands and thousands of pictures. And if you go look at our website on the American Legion, you'll probably see a lot of your faces out there. When we do our bike night, our poker runs, we host the BMV poker run, you'll see it, everybody out there. Mark had a very bad incident. We were doing last year's Hotsy run, and he walked into the lookout. He just got off his motorcycle, walked in with his camera, and collapsed on the floor. Never recovered. He had a major stroke. But 14 days later, he passed away. And, what we do for our Legion riders and our Hotsy run is the hospice run that our money goes to. And they took care of Flash in the last moments was hospice. They allowed us to come to the hospital, bring all of our bikes up there, park them inside the hospital, and they wheeled him out when he was still in his coma, just days before he passed away, and let us give him a send-off with the motorcycles. It was pretty damn impressive. I'm pretty sure that Mark heard us when we revved them bikes up, but if he didn't, everybody else in that damn hospital did. But it's a great loss for our little family in the American Legion, losing Mark.
Mark Flash Long, American Legion Riders, Post 392.
Here. Talk about Stephen Wallace. Joey mentioned a little bit about it. He was a little guy, and he was very sick when we started the Legion Riders, but he was always there to help us. And he was our chaplain, and he was our peacekeeper. You know, if there was something going on, he always was able to see both sides and keep calm about things. Made sure nothing ever happened around the post. You know, he kind of kept it under wraps. Talk about tools. The man had every tool in the world. He lived right down in the cove, and if he seen you down there slinging a hammer and you needed something else, he'd just disappear. He'd show back up, and he'd have all kinds of tools. He couldn't use them. He was too brittle to use them, but he brought them down there. We had a burn barrel one day, just an old 55-gallon drum, and he had the idea that he wanted to drill holes in it, make POW sign and all that. He damn near killed himself doing it because he kept drilling his hands. He couldn't feel them. You know, he just kept drilling through, cutting himself. But that burn barrel is now immortalized at our American Legion. Steve Wallace was a good man. I wish he could still be here.
Steve Wallace, American Legion Riders, Post 392.
Here. Our last one's Jerry Maverick Green. just passed away recently. Like you said, he never rode a motorcycle. He never asked to be a member of the American Legion Riders. But he was always there every day. It didn't matter what you needed, he'd come through for us. So the guys that we first started with, we decided we would make him an honorary member. You have to own a motorcycle to be a member of this post, the Riders. He's the only honorary member we've ever had. That's what he meant to us. And spent his last days at Sims Veterans Home, which I know a lot of y'all are familiar with. And they definitely did what they had to do. They took care of him to the end.
Jerry Maverick Green, American Legion Riders, Post 392.
Here.
Thank you, old dog.
Like I said, there's a lot of names up here from different clubs, different ride groups, different riders, different areas. If anybody has anybody up here on this memorial would like to speak, come up now. Anybody know of anybody? Johnny Man.
Steve Wallace, little guy, a hell of a Marine, and always called me Doc. And always walking around with his cane, telling old stories. He was kind of a pain in the ass in a way. But race training, another friend of mine, Legion Rider, we took off and went over to Tallahassee and saw him in the hospital just before he passed. And of course, Ray, right away, Navy diver, he's harassing the nurse about oral sex while my friend is dying. That's normal.
Great.
And so Steve looked up and he lit up pretty good, and we had a lot of fun with the nurses. Of course, Kathy was there. And he said, you know, Johnny, he says, I'm going to get off this bed and I'm going to get back on a bike. He said it shouldn't be long. He said, but that's my goal. And he passed shortly thereafter. Thank you.